Do you desire to turn your passion into income? Connect with other creative souls who also dance to the beat of their own drum? I'm Marie-Nicole, and I'm devoted to combining beauty, uniqueness, and connection in everyday living experiences. As a creative professional and Dharma coach, I help people connect to the truth of who they are and facilitate them in embodying their uniqueness. It is my hope in this podcast that I inspire you to live your life on your terms and earn your income through being uniquely you. After all, it's the unique thread that we each contribute to the collective tapestry that creates the whole. Have you ever noticed that when you're wearing something that you feel good in, it's easier to move through your days more effortlessly? I'm not referring to being able to hold yourself together in a way that creates a silhouette that is acceptable by society standards. I am meaning when you feel like what you are wearing allows your inner essence to be your outer expression. And you don't feel the need to conform to a trend or expectation that is set by others. I'm also not talking about a care factor zero approach, leaving your house in your activewear and Ugg boots because you feel no need to put any effort in because who cares anyway? If that were your thinking, I would argue that you actually do care about yourself, which is why you choose to wear activewear, which you find comfortable. But you probably wouldn't make that your daily go-to if you wanted to feel empowered, to truly stand in your truth, to move through your days doing what you're here to do to serve the collective while feeling good about yourself. What I am referring to is not about putting in more effort, but instead finding alignment. Let's look at this from a scientific perspective for a moment. Are you aware of the frequency of the fabric that you cloak your body in? And the reason that this has an impact? Everything is energy. When you walk into a space and you feel at ease or uncomfortable, the frequency has a part to play in that. When someone comes close to you and you feel their energy, be it high vibe or low, that's the frequency that they are emitting. The same can be said for the fabrics that you wear. I intuitively knew that certain fabrics made me feel better when I wore them. Recently discovering that scientific evidence backs what I was feeling was a bit of a light bulb moment for me. I was like, of course, it makes so much sense. While I choose to tap into my intuitive guidance first to make my decisions, I know for some it really helps to know that scientific evidence supports what they are feeling and it's not just all woo-woo. The results show that the frequency of organic cotton sits around 110 hertz and polyester only 10 hertz, which may not sound much on its own, but when you hear that a sick person measures around 15 hertz, then this provides some context and it makes this information a bit more powerful. Polyester actually drags down your frequency and does not support your health. Add to that learning that linen and wool read at 5,000 hertz, you can see why there's a noticeable difference in how you feel when your skin is draped in linen or wool rather than polyester. Learning this also made me understand why often when visitors walked into my commercial space, they entered, they dropped their shoulders, they took a deep breath, and they let out a sigh of relief. I even had people burst into tears at that release that they felt upon entering. And it was a great feeling for them. That space had an appeal to most of our human senses through the smell, the frequency of sound, that through the music that I played, the lighting that was soothing, as well as the textures that were pleasing to the touch, which I'm guessing were at a higher energetic frequency. And that's why it was so supportive and nurturing for people. Which is why people lingered longer, shared their life stories, returned time and time again for their creator's nest fix. Some were not big spenders, but they would visit again and again as they found it soothing for their soul. While they may not have known that at an intellectual level, they certainly felt it, which is why they kept coming back. But let's go back to the idea of empower dressing. Dressing in a way that enables you to release the concern about whether or not your winter layer of fat is now peeking over your waistband and is visibly creating a roll around your belly. You probably could address that by wearing some kind of undergarment that holds everything together tightly for you so that others cannot see the outcomes of your daily choices. And if you're like me, a mother whose daily choices are not always accounting for what's best for my personal needs, racing around, supporting the needs of children, doing our best to maintain our own physical health and well-being, but finding that there are periods of time when our needs get pushed aside in order to serve the needs of others. And while we recalibrate, find our rhythm again so that we can place more time and energy towards our physical fitness regime, it serves us well to wear clothes that do not make us feel ashamed of not sporting that washboard torso we had pre-children. I actually think we need to be gentle on ourselves and not torture ourselves with tight undergarments that suck everything in, but instead wear clothing that allows us to take the necessary deep breaths to move trapped energy and emotions in our bodies so we can handle our days with more ease and grace, and enjoy the fact that these treasured children have given us the privilege of being their caregivers as they navigate their way through the experience of self-discovery during childhood, navigating their way through the teenage years towards adulthood and independence. With us as their guides to support them along their journey, what a gift that is for us. So judging ourselves harshly for not maintaining that physique of our youth is not supportive, but discovering how to dress in a way that enables us to feel empowered as we go through our personal changes, having our bodies stretched to capacity and then pinged back to more of an overstretched rubber band, which over time can be gracefully brought back into a strong-toned, physically capable vehicle if we foster and facilitate that in the daily choices that we make. Part of which is not judging ourselves for what we are not and dressing in a way that allows us to relax into our being, facilitating our bodies in returning to that strong, physically capable woman that we wish to be again. Becoming a single mum, there have been times when my best laid plans for self-care have been thrown out the window. But I personally am not prepared to give up on my own dreams and needs, which is why I choose to make space for self-care whenever I can. And I choose to wear garments that feel good against my skin, allowing me to relax into my being, because I see more value in moving through my days effortlessly, serving the collective with my unique gifts, rather than trying to be something that doesn't align with me. The fabrics I choose to wear play an important role in this. As I said at the beginning of this episode, I seem to always know intuitively what made me feel good, even to the point of sleeping in linen sheets over cotton. Living in a cool climate, getting into cold cotton sheets of a night time and gasping was not the best way to ease into a peaceful slumber. Knowing that linen had thermal regulating qualities, it did not at all surprise me that linen sheets felt so good all year round. Back when I started my artisanal business 16 years ago, I spent quite a lot of time researching which fabric to use as my base fabric for my product line, which at the time was focused on screen printing. Back then, I chose to work with linen instead of organic cotton for a number of reasons, but one being that cotton is such a water-intensive crop to grow, and flax, which is what linen is made from, is not. Plus, flax has less need for pesticides. So I thought I would choose a base fabric that had the potential of one day being produced in Australia, choosing linen over cotton based on our climate and my concern for caring for our environment. As someone who was making her own clothes since childhood, my product line branched out into garments after customers requested if they could purchase the clothes that I was wearing, which I made for myself out of linen mainly. At first, based on the fact that linen being good for the environment, which made me think it's most likely better for us too, since we are a part of nature, not separate from it. And after working with linen more for garment construction, I also became aware of its thermal regulating and antibacterial qualities. Working with premium quality linens, mostly but not exclusively from Lithuania, the feel of these fabrics are exquisite against the skin and can be effortlessly layered with other natural fibre garments all year round. Aside from creating garments from linen, I chose to work with New Zealand fine merino, which also shares the same thermal regulating and antibacterial qualities. At the time of focusing most of my range on linen and wool, I had no idea what the frequency of these fabrics were and did make some things out of organic cotton and silk. But it makes so much sense to me now, learning about the frequency of linen and wool being so much higher than cotton or polyester. My shift away from polyester started with a faux fur vest, which I'd bought many years ago and I wore a lot, but it didn't feel good to the touch in comparison to my fur coats. So eventually I replaced it with a natural hair-on-hide vest that I made myself and have been selling to order since. You can find out more about my uniquely handcrafted wild hide vest, along with other handcrafted products I make, via the link to my online store in the show notes. And to keep up to date with what's in store or what's coming soon, you can sign up to the email list. There's a link for that in the show notes too. Now, a vest is so versatile to wear all year round, and the difference between wearing my faux fur vest and the natural fibre vest was amazing. Not only did my children start to cuddle me for longer when I wore that vest, I also had friends stroke it often as it feels so good to the touch. Years later, I still wear that vest regularly and all year round. Over summer, on a cooler day, I would wear it over a lightweight linen singlet or blouse, and in winter, over cozy woolen jumpers. It keeps my body temperature comfortable while still allowing for manoeuvrability that is required to get on with my work too. Now, while the faux fur vest also allowed for movement, it did make me feel sweaty the more active I became, and it felt a little tacky to the touch. Now, I'm guessing that the frequency of fur and leather would rate higher than faux fur and pleather, your polyurethane leather. So, all that said, not only do I wish to encourage you to tune into how you feel when you put certain fabrics up against your skin, I'd also encourage you to tune into how the cut of garments make you feel. The shape of the necklines, the hem lengths of your skirts, the cut of your jeans. We all have our own unique body shape, and different cuts and styles can make a big difference in how we feel when we're wearing them. Do they make you feel like you can move through your days effortlessly, or do they make you feel weighed down and heavy? I now transform all of my t-shirts that come into my wardrobe, reworking both the neckline and the sleeves to a shape that actually makes me feel better and more effortless in my movements. I've worn t-shirts a lot more since doing this. They're comfortable, practical, but the classic shape just does not make me feel good, even though the fabric is lightweight. And so reshaping them means that I wear them more frequently and enjoy them more. So empower dressing is not about how others perceive us. It's about how we feel ourselves in the outfits we are wearing. The same can be said for the colours, tones of fabrics, patterns, stripes or plain. When you form a foundation for your wardrobe based around guiding principles that serve you, your body shape, your personal style, your needs, it's a lot more economical to invest in better quality garments that last years, rather than buying the current trend and discarding those items that just didn't suit you or make you feel good. Even if you donate them to opportunity shops, we all know how much these stores are struggling with the overabundance of garments made from inferior quality fabric, and how much of that ends up in landfill. The flow-on effect is far beyond just us not feeling good. We're better off understanding what works for us and invest in items created to suit our unique taste and style. Doing this not only reduces what ends up in landfill, it also reduces the overwhelm and overthinking when trying to decide what to wear before heading out the door. If you could open up your wardrobe and know that almost anything you choose will layer or complement the other items you have, you will save a lot of time making a decision. And you will feel great wearing whatever you choose if you know that your wardrobe is full of items that works for you. Again, we come back to self-awareness. Last week's episode on understanding your human vehicle ties into this nicely. as does the one on embodiment. When we know ourselves and we can make decisions that support our health and well-being, and now that you know wearing fabrics like linen and wool actually contribute to your health, you'll see the higher price tag as a part of your investment into supporting a healthier, happier you. So you can let go of wearing those things that lower your vibe, lead you to holding your breath, and instead relax, breathe with ease, and move through your days doing business to your own beat, empowered to let your inner essence be your outer expression with confidence. Thank you so much for your time. I know how valuable it is, and I hope you got value out of listening to this podcast. If you are looking for a coach to support and guide you through your own unique journey of creating a life you love, then reach out for a connection call. And if you'd like to connect with other creative souls in person by joining us at a workshop, a retreat, or to book a unique shopping experience here at Creators Nest, I run those by appointment. So check out the website for more details. The link is in the show notes. Oh, and please leave a review. I'd love to hear any insights or inspirations that were activated in you from this podcast. And I look forward to drumming, dancing, or soaring alongside of you.